celebrating the power of work since 1919. At the beginning of the 20th century, a Boston Methodist minister, Reverend Edgar J. Helms, was concerned about the plight of immigrants who came to America with nothing. His idea was simple: help the impoverished, not with charity, but with a chance to learn trade skills.
Work greatly enhances the morale of those who help themselves and others by their labor in our industry. Not charity, but a check. It believes more in prevention than cure. That is what a job does. It prevents.
Determined to provide a hand up, not a handout, Helms put a burlap bag over his shoulder and went door to door, asking the affluent of Boston to contribute shoes, clothing, household items, and furniture. Poor men and women worked by restoring these donated items while learning trades and sharpening skills at the same time. Income from the resale of the goods paid their wages. The Goodwill movement was born and quickly spread throughout the United States. Both Goodwills in Milwaukee and Chicago began in Methodist churches in 1919. Our mission was to provide a chance, not charity, to people society had labeled as unemployable, including thousands of injured soldiers returning from World War I. From the beginning, the sale of donated items in retail stores provided the revenue needed to support these mission services. The first Goodwill store opened in 1920 on Astor Street. 8 people, most of them part-time, were employed at the store. The Great Depression of the 1930s caused unemployment rates of 25% in Milwaukee County. We once again responded to the community and served as a temporary employer of hundreds, while also providing a supportive environment for individuals with disabilities to help them develop work-related skills and behaviors. More recently, we transitioned persons with disabilities into jobs within their communities, which exemplifies our belief in the power of work.
Project Search helped me really by transitioning over to another job in the community. I like working at Home Depot because I like to be here and I like to make everyone happy. I'm a store greeter where I greet customers and say good morning, good afternoon, welcome to the Home Depot. I ask them, do they need help finding anything? I really like working with people. My dream job is doing customer service. Thank you, Goodwill, for helping me get a job.
With World War II raging, military needs were at the forefront for our nation. In response, Goodwill began collecting salvage for the war effort. Our resale operations reduced consumer demand for new goods and were critical for the war effort as well. Then, as soldiers returned home, we once again worked with the Veterans Administration to provide rehabilitation and employment services for those veterans with disabilities. Today, Goodwill continues to recognize how veteran skill sets are valuable in the workforce.
So I served in the United States Army for almost 9 years. When I exited the military, I felt disconnected from the community. I felt like I didn't have a purpose anymore, and I was really depressed. But I found throughout my journey in seeking new employment that there was not clear recognition of the value that we bring to the professional workforce. I was searching through online job boards and I had found the open position for Goodwill. I read the purpose behind it and the mission behind it, and I said, that's for me. Within my first day here at Goodwill, I already kind of knew that this is where I belonged. You know, simply walking through the hallways and seeing some of the people we served renewed the sense of purpose in my life. Goodwill did a great job of closing the gap between the veteran community and the professional workforce. They saw the value and the skill sets that I possess and gave me an opportunity. I am so appreciative that Goodwill has seen the value in our service members. And I'm so thankful that they are willing to go to bat for our community and really spearhead the effort in hiring our service members.
The 1950s saw the baby boom and the migration of families to the suburbs. Responding to these societal changes, Goodwill set up donation containers at shopping centers and enlisted Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to help with additional collection drives. In the early 1960s, the growing need for services allowed Milwaukee Goodwill to expand into Racine, the Fox Valley, and Madison, and become Goodwill Industries of Wisconsin. In the mid-70s, Goodwill looked to other revenue sources, such as with Naval Station Great Lakes and a local international manufacturer. By the end of 1978, Goodwill Industries of Wisconsin was serving 10% of all persons with disabilities in North America. The severe recessions of the late 70s and early 80s caused a decline in U.S. manufacturing. And southeastern Wisconsin and metropolitan Chicago also felt those effects. This prompted us to launch workforce development services for job seekers in Kenosha and Milwaukee counties. This one-stop shop in Kenosha became a model for organizations around the country and continues to serve individuals today.
Being a single mom and trying to find employment is extremely difficult to deal with. When I was attending everything that was available under the W-2 umbrella that Goodwill had to offer, and I think that drive was something that Goodwill picked up on. There was a position that opened up here at the job center and I was encouraged to apply for it. I did and received the interview for the position. I started working for Goodwill in 2008. When I first started, I began working at the answering message center as a clerk. Goodwill cares about their employees. They want to see you grow. They understand life happens, so they will offer whatever they can. I'm most proud of the time that I worked for Goodwill. If it hadn't been for those years working for Goodwill, I don't think I would have the confidence and the strength to be where I'm at today. I'm just thankful for the people that believed in me, the opportunities that were given to me. Even though I'm no longer employed with Goodwill, they're still so supportive, and so it's nice to have that.
Goodwill also embraced technology, adding computer skills to our job training programs. And we continued our partnership with the U.S. Navy. Today, over 550 individuals with disabilities are employed at Naval Station Great Lakes.
So my life before this was a rough one. I did my own thing like so many young people do and wound up going to prison for 12 years. And I got home from prison in 2006. I worked odd-end jobs, stuff like that. And I was hitting the wall for 15 months, no job, couldn't get a job, a permanent job. And I learned about Goodwill when I was at the unemployment office. I saw a company hiring, they said, we hire for ex-felons. And it happened to be that they were doing interviews for Goodwill. So I've been with Goodwill for 11 years. I turned my life around with Goodwill. I was a food service worker. After that, I became a cook, and then I became a manager, food service manager. Even this situation here is why Goodwill is my family, because I am somebody at Goodwill. And I thank God every day for all these opportunities that I've been afforded just here at Goodwill. I learned that one mistake wasn't the end of the world. I learned that I wasn't defined by one bad act nor one great act, that it all defines me. I got a great life, and Goodwill is definitely to thank for it.
Goodwill's ability to respond to the needs of the times is the strength of the organization. Whether it's in workforce development or forging a relationship with the U.S. Navy.
I think Goodwill response to the community has really been trying to figure out how we best deliver a solution to the customer. Goodwill in the Milwaukee and Chicago community have seen the reality of some fairly intractable problems in our inner cities. The response to that was to help better understand what the challenges for those folks to get a job were, and then to deliver on breaking down the barriers of helping these people go from wanting a job to learning how to get a job, to learning about all the other issues they had to deal with to keep a job. Goodwill is special to me because it helps people that have some real challenges to employment get a job and keep a job and improve their lives. And to be part of that, to me, is very special.
Since 1919, Goodwill has helped individuals with disabilities improve their lives. And the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act in the 1990s was yet another milestone. This civil rights law prohibits discrimination based on disability and requires employers to provide reasonable accommodations for employees with disabilities. This opened doors to more employment opportunities. Wisconsin became the first state to institute work requirements for welfare recipients in the late 90s. And because of our continued success in workforce development services, Goodwill became the largest provider of welfare to work services in Wisconsin, helping disadvantaged individuals. The Goodwill organizations in southeastern Wisconsin and metropolitan Chicago merged in 1999, allowing us to expand our geographical footprint, rebrand our Goodwill store and donation centers, and serve more individuals. Retail revenue grew by $60 million. The Great Recession in the 2000s brought more changes to our communities. Responding to high unemployment, Goodwill opened several job centers in Wisconsin and Illinois that provided free resources and job search assistance for anyone. We also opened a recruiting and staffing company to assist dislocated and disadvantaged workers.
To me, the Goodwill mission is about helping individuals out who have obstacles, who have barriers, whether it's a disability or whether they're disadvantaged, and trying to put them in a spot where they can feel better about their place in life and the impact you can make on that network of people by touching that one life. It's what we're here for.
Today, Goodwill's revenue is reinvested into our businesses in socially responsible ways. From our brick-and-mortar stores and e-commerce, document destruction and commercial laundry, to our staffing services and electronics recycling. Our social enterprises and partnerships with companies and communities help us to improve human and environmental well-being.
The reason why Goodwill has continued to grow and prosper is because we're not focused on just doing what we've done in the past. You think about e-cycle, e-commerce, they're things that weren't even on the radars 9 years ago. We're thinking about what we should be doing in the future. Goodwill has been able to adapt to what will make it successful and to look for those opportunities to make it successful and to look for the ways to serve those individuals that are part of the mission. I'm excited about what it's going to do for Goodwill as an organization.
The fast pace of technology and the problems associated with discarding computers and other electronics influenced Goodwill's decision to create an electronics recycling business. In the past year, Goodwill has recycled more than 4 million pounds of materials, keeping it out of landfills, while providing job opportunities for individuals with disabilities or disadvantages.
One of the most rewarding aspects of working at Goodwill is witnessing the real transformation in the lives of the people that we serve and in the lives of our own Goodwill employees. We have the privilege of seeing firsthand confidence develop, problem solving occur, and the dignity that comes from work.
In the last 100 years, our services have changed to respond to the needs of the times. We began by helping people with disabilities and disadvantages repair donated items. We helped connect our neighbors with basic services during the Great Depression, and we're proud to provide training and jobs to wounded soldiers coming back from world wars. We trained people on computers when technology transformed the workplace. And during both the Depression and numerous recessions, we have been instrumental in connecting people to jobs, remaining grounded to our mission. What started in the basement of a Methodist church remains as vibrant now as it did in 1919. As we celebrate our 100th anniversary, it is for all of us to pause and reflect on the accomplishments others have done before us as we lay the foundation for the next 100 years.
Our Goodwill investors endorse most of the teaching and practice of scientific charity, but generally it regards a job above an investigation, not charity, but check.